There it is, guys. There it is. There it is. Wrap already. McGregor, Cerrone. It's over. Like, I don't even know the count. It was like 30 something seconds, maybe 35. It don't even matter. Let's just call it 30 seconds. It is what it is. Fight's over, guys. McGregor came out. Let me give you guys a quick analysis because this will probably take longer than the actual fight itself. He came out for a big left hand, which kind of surprised me. I'm like, why did he throw such a big left hand to lead off the fight? Donald Cerrone ducked the left hand. They initiated a clinch. I was kind of curious to see, was Donald Cerrone going to immediately go for the takedown? He didn't, but they just clinched. And Conor McGregor in the clinch, he isolated Donald Cerrone's right hand or arm, and he proceeded to throw 3 to 4 shoulder strikes, which I've done this before in training, but it's a technique that you've never seen anyone do in MMA. Um, I've seen people do it before, but never to this effect. Connor did not call out. I'll get to that. I'll get to the post fight interview here in a second about Connor. So just bear with me. So he proceeded to throw, like I said, 3 to 4 shoulder strikes. One of the shoulder strikes in particular hurt Donald Cerrone, and Donald Cerrone's nose immediately started bleeding. And after the one strike, I think it was the last one because after he landed that one, he he meaning Donald Cerrone, he kind of like was like doing like one of these walking backwards, like basically letting Conor McGregor know that he was hurt. Conor McGregor proceeded to throw a flying knee, um, threw some other strikes, hit Donald Cerrone with a head kick right on the jaw. Donald Cerrone like fell back. Conor McGregor hit him with a big left hand. Donald Cerrone went down. Now shout out. Oh, what up? What up, my man Martinez? I'm gonna get to the call outs, guys. Just bear with me. I'm getting through the fight. Have some patience, okay? Now, shout out to Herb Dean because Herb Dean gave Conor McGregor every single chance that he could give a fighter. So shout out to Herb Dean for that. Because I was thinking to myself, Donald, come on. Donald, what the hell are you doing? I was like, this is just a typical Donald Cerrone type of fight. He gets the big fight and he chokes. And I'm gonna be honest, Donald Cerrone choked. He choked because he didn't make any adjustments after he got hit with the shoulder strikes. Now look, let's just be honest, okay? Maybe Donald Cerrone's like, what are these stupid shoulder strikes? This is nothing. Then he gets hurt by it. Then okay, it's like all right, let's act right now. Let's stop playing. So he was on the ground. He was getting ground and pounded. I mean, look, granted, Conor McGregor was a whirlwind at that moment. He was riding high. He was at his peak. You know, the fight's only 30 seconds in at that point. So it's not like he's going to show any signs of slowing down. But it does come a point where Herb Dean is literally telling Donald Cerrone, fight back, do something. Donald Cerrone, he slightly did something. He turned, you know, flat on his back, but then Conor McGregor proceeded to pound him even more. But I was just like, come on, man. So again, shout out to Herb Dean. Donald Cerrone choked again, and it's really unfortunate. Now, I don't know if Donald Cerrone's nose was particularly broken, but it was bleeding quite a bit. Now, it could have been one of those things because the shoulder, if you guys don't know, like the shoulder is very hard. Some portions, like there's one portion right here. Now I think that's like where my collarbone meets right here. There's a big hump. If you feel your shoulder, you can feel this hump right here in your shoulder. This is very hard. Even your collarbone is very hard. You know, depending upon how muscular you are, your delts are pretty hard. That's a really strong strike, which is why they don't allow that strike in boxing. So kind of interesting. I re- I mean, look, very smart strategy for Cerrone, or not Cerrone, but McGregor to come out there fast and blitzkrieg Donald Cerrone because you know I'm not surprised by this. I hope none of you guys. I would think you guys are smart MMA fans out there. But I would hope that you guys are not surprised by this because we've seen this out of Donald Cerrone before. Now let's go to the post fight because so many people are asking about the post fight. Conor McGregor, he didn't really call out particularly anyone by name. I'll say this by name, okay? He didn't call anyone out by name. He did say that guy at the desk with you can get it, meaning Paul Felder, because Paul Felder was calling the fights along with Joe Rogan and John Anik. He also said he likes being at welterweight. He likes this division. He says he still has a few more levels to go. Maybe he's just not quite where he feels he needs to be at welterweight. But he did call out basically a lot of the top guys at welterweight. Now, as that happened, they panned the cameras to Jorge Masvidal. I'm watching some highlights of the fight, by the way, and they also panned to Kamaru Usman, who proceeded to just look up in the air in disdain and did this motion like boring, boring, like Conor McGregor's gonna fight. You can say that all you want, Kamaru Usman, but trust me, you're gonna get mega paid. You know what I'm saying? If I were Kamaru Usman, I'd be like, give it to me, give it. That's a good payday. This payday that Donald Cerrone just got is the biggest one he's ever had in his career. And if you're just tuning into this, Donald Cerrone lost via TKO in the first round, 30 something seconds. You know, plus or minus a few seconds. Very anticlimactic. If you paid for this fight, I feel sorry for you. If you went out to a bar to watch this fight, I also feel sorry for you because what a shame. I mean, look, shout out to everyone else who was on this fight card. In the beginning, there were a lot of good fights earlier on. You know, some good finishes. Macy Barber got upset. Said Twitch for free. So it's very disappointing. I was honestly hoping to get a good fight out of this one. I was really hoping that this fight would have lasted a little bit. We would have got to see some of Conor because we haven't seen him fight since the Habib fight. He says he has some new tricks up his sleeve, which I mean, look, he did show one trick that was up his sleeve, and it was those shoulder strikes. We've never seen that in the UFC ever. Well, I'm not gonna be so hasteful as to say ever yet, but maybe in the early days someone threw some shoulder strikes. But actually, I've seen people throw shoulder strikes, but not to that variety that we saw McGregor throw him against Cerrone. Now that I'm rejogging my memory bank of all of the UFC fights that I've watched, all the way down to the first one, I've seen people throw shoulder strikes before, but like I said, not to the variety that we saw against Cowboy Cerrone in this fight. So excellent technique. Um, Yeah, John. Yeah, exactly. John Jones throws shoulder strikes. Yeah, a lot of people throw them, but again, not to the variety how he threw them because he really isolated Donald's right arm, didn't allow his right arm to get into the situation, and for some strange reason, Donald Cerrone just kept his head right there to be hit with shoulder strikes. He's the taller fighter, clinched in with the smaller guy, but allowed himself to get shoulder striked and allowed it to also be effective, which was very strange to me. Now, some people, I know what you guys, I know what you guys are gonna say. Was this fight fixed? Yeah, I can see the comments coming. I can see the comments already. I know the arguments because the people out there that hate McGregor or the people that want to believe that the UFC is fixed, whatever you want to believe, but I don't care. It's kind of weird. I'm not gonna lie. Kind of weird, Donald Cerrone. You got a lot of. I'm gonna say like you got some splaining to do, Donald Cerrone. You've got some serious splaining to do because that was very awkward. Why no adjustment? Why? Why was your head down, clenched up against a smaller opponent like that? Very, very strange. Very, very strange. Yeah, a lot of unanswered things that, yeah, yeah, yeah. This is just really weird, man. Very, very weird. So it looks like Connor. Who knows who's he gonna fight next? Who's he gonna fight next? That's a real big question right now. Who is he gonna fight next? He basically look. I'll be surprised if he hurt himself in this fight. I'll be very surprised. Maybe he hurt his toe when he kicked Donald Cerrone in the chin. Maybe, right? That is a strong possibility. But he seems to be ready for the Tony Khabib fight. So let's just transition to Tony Khabib because that fight's coming up April 18th, basically 3 months from now. Conor has come out and said that he will be ready for if any one of them pulls out, which that is what Conor McGregor is predicting, that either Tony or Khabib will pull out of that fight in April. Based upon history, and if we just go off of what history tells us, Conor McGregor, he's using a good trajectory of history. Now, me, myself personally, I hope that does not happen. I hope neither of those guys pull out of the fight. I was talking to one of my clients earlier, and we were talking about the fights. And at this point, the Tony Khabib matchup, it needs to happen for me. This fight has to happen. I don't care like what I just want to see this fight. I just want to see this fight come hella high water. I really don't care. I'm gonna save my prediction for that fight for later. But I've got to see this fight though. I've got to see it. And I really hope nothing happens. I really hope nothing happens to Tony or Habib in the lead up to this fight. Because this fight needs to happen. And if Conor comes in, I'm going to be honest, I think Conor can beat Tony. I think Conor could beat Khabib. Now, I truly believe that Conor looked pretty good in the fight against Khabib. He had moments in that fight where I was like, wow. The first time I watched the fight, I was like, wow, he just got railroaded. Then I watched it again and I said to myself, wow, he actually had some good moments. And if he would just make a few little tweaks, that fight could have, the complexion of the fight could have been a little bit different. But a Conor fight against Tony, I think Conor beats Tony kind of easy. I'm not, and I hate to say that because Tony's a tough guy, and we've seen him take a beating, come back and beat guys. But I honestly feel that Conor can beat Tony because Conor is a sniper. Tony is a zombie is very easy to pick off. They're slow, methodical, blah, 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 and they're easy to pick off. Connor's a sniper. And we've seen Tony knocked down by many guys. Cowboy rocked Tony. Anthony Pettis rocked Tony. Lando Venata rocked Tony. Josh Thompson rocked Tony. And the list goes on and on about people who have hurt Tony Ferguson in the fight. The thing is with Conor McGregor, he's a very calculated striker who is pinpoint accurate, and he has power to boot. So I think Conor fighting Tony, it could be a very quick one. Because like I said, Conor's a very quick starter. But the one thing that Tony does, what I like, which is kind of awkward, let's just be honest about it. Once Tony gets hurt, he does like weird stuff. Like he'll go into a front roll. He'll do a little cartwheel right after he gets hurt. Unlike guys who typically get hurt and just put their hands up and maybe back up and things like this, Tony does the total opposite. He'll do a front roll. He'll do a cartwheel. He'll start breakdancing after you hit him with a good shot. And it's the smartest thing when you really think about it. It's just the smartest maneuver because it's kind of hard to hurt someone when they're breakdancing. It's kind of hard to throw follow-up shots when the guy does a front roll. It's really hard to throw follow-up shots to finish a fight when the dude is doing cartwheels. So it's very interesting. A fight that I like to see and a fight that I hope could happen. The thing with Conor is he has so many different avenues of pathways of different fights. There's the Kamaru Usman bout that's looming, right? There's the Jorge Masvidal fights that's looming. There's the Nate Diaz rubber match that's looming. There's the Khabib rematch that's looming. He could possibly fight Tony. He could fight Justin Gaethje. Conor has so many options. I honestly don't know which way this fight, well, I wouldn't say this fight, but his next fight is going to go, or his next 2 to 3 fights is going to go. Let's say he does fight Khabib and then wins. And of course, he's the title holder and he's just going to fight up and comers as far as contenders, but will he go back up to welterweight? Like, there's so many possibilities with Conor right now. It's really, the ball's really in his court, especially after this one. Stellar performance. I got to tip my hat out to Conor. As much as some of you may think that the fight was fake or fixed, whatever, I'll let you guys argue and debate that in the comments. But this is something that I saw coming. Something that I totally saw coming. And I actually took the liberty to go to the sports book. I looked at some online sites and looked at the odds of first round finishes for Conor McGregor. And the odds, it was like one and a half. Yeah, one and a half odds. So you really weren't getting that much of your money in if you would have bet Connor to TKO Cerrone in the first round because hey, all of the sport bookers knew this already, and of course, I knew this. So it just is what it is. Donald Cerrone, unfortunately, again, he's a big letdown, and it just is what it is, and it sucks. So subscribe to the channel. A little bit, it kind of sucks that I didn't get to go live for this one. I just really wanted to sit back and enjoy the fights. And it is what it is. I just wanted to enjoy the fights. I didn't want to really come on here and chit chat with you guys, although that would have been fun. The fight card overall, good fight card. And I feel sorry for you, Jay Rios. Lost 2K in 43 seconds. I mean, if you would have consulted with me, I would have wholeheartedly told you to not put that 2K on Donald Cerrone. Put your 2K somewhere else. But it was a very entertaining 30 seconds. Conor McGregor brought all the stars out. Everyone came out to support Conor. Everyone was coming out. He had A-list celebrities. He had A-list athletes out here watching him fight. And man, he delivered. He delivered for everyone. Soon as Herb Dean stepped in to wave the fight off, the crowd erupted. All you see is popcorn and drinks flying in the air, and everyone's excited, jubilee, and man, it was just a good night of fights, somewhat, right? Somewhat. The main card, eh. So don't forget to subscribe, guys. I'm gonna get out of here. I'll probably actually, yeah, I'm gonna come back with another video on the 3 reasons why Donald Cerrone lost this fight. But I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Uh, and I guess yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Pettis lost by rear naked choke, I think second round. Donald Cerrone didn't really call anyone, or Conor McGregor didn't really call anyone out. He basically called out everyone. He's like, everyone can get it, but he didn't call anyone out by name. So I'll see you guys in the next video. I'm gonna go live here again. Stick around if you want to listen to my commentary on the 3 reasons Donald Cerrone lost. And it's actually very easy. I'm out of here.